Hello, hello, hello. It's the Rec Show podcast, and thanks for joining us today. Russ Reyes from Kilt Cork. You're becoming a regular guest every couple of weeks.
Well, thank you, Rex. You know, I like your show, man. It's fun to be on, and you're a cool guy. So.
Well, thank you. You are too, and you always bring a beverage with you, and maybe the reason we have you in. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking, I'm a little suspicious about that. I think it's because I'm always bringing something to drink. But,
right. The last time you were in, we talked about the top drinks of fall.
Right.
And that was a lot of fun, and we got a lot of great reaction. People were like really digging it.
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things I think we all share in common. We want to have something nice to warm us up in the fall, and even more so in the winter. So we'll talk about winter, in a couple of months. But you know, bourbon is always going to be one of my go-tos year-round, but especially when it starts getting chilly. So that's what I brought today. And so
you brought in a local bourbon.
Yes.
All right, tell us who you brought in.
So J.J. Pfister, it's a really interesting backstory to this company. They're newer to the distilling industry. I think 2015 is when they started the distillery. But the family name goes way back to the 1800s to San Francisco. And if you notice on the label, they've got a sewing machine. It's on our little cup here because they started making wool bathing suits. Like in the in the 1920s when they the bathing suits that the women wore that were kind of long and so that's what their claim to fame was back in the early 1800s, early 1900s. So the family came from a textile background.
Sure.
And they actually, I found out today, they actually made the first swimsuit, the first woman to swim across the
channel or something?
The Bay, the San Francisco Bay.
Okay, in San Francisco.
And you know how cold that is.
Yes, it can
she
be.
wore one of these suits, and I think that helped propel them into the national spotlight. So yeah.
Hey, we make swimsuits. We need to make whiskey.
That's
we need to make bourbon because we got to warm these people up after they go for a swim in the Bay.
So then they, over the years, I think the family business evolved and things like that. But more recently, the descendants of J.J. Pfister, and they named it after their great-great-grandfather, started distilling. And I'm glad they did because it's local. It's right here, right up the road in Rancho Cordova.
Right.
And this is a rye.
Rye.
Yeah. Now, it's going to warm you up, though.
Oh, yeah. That does the job. Mm-hmm. And this is rye whiskey, J.J. Pfister.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, it does. You get that. And that's what I like about it for fall is because you can be sitting, by a fire, or you can be sitting outside on your deck when it's...
Looked at it, I thought, that is a nice little commercial, right? Because I thought it was for some whiskey. It looks familiar, too. And it was you sitting there with a bottle.
Yes.
And you seem very composed, which is unusual for you.
It is. It's very unusual.
And you were on like a couch, and I was like,
I know.
They never even let me sit down here. They say, go back to the studio. When you're done, leave.
Oh, wow.
And so you get special treatment.
Yeah. Well,
so
it was a cool couch.
Yeah. So would this J.J. Pfister fit into... I just spilled a little bit.
That's alcohol abuse. You're spilling it all over the counter.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
This would fit into the drinks of fall, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah. This fits into the drinks of fall or basically any time. And, the beautiful thing about rye whiskey, it comes in a bottle, is if you have a flask, it fits in a flask, too.
Right.
And then you can carry your flask around with you if you need that.
Hey, Asia, can you do me a favor and grab me a paper towel so I can mop this up? I mean, it's a horrible thing.
You know what? That paper towel is going to be super flammable now. You're going to use it to do a fireplace starter.
This warms you up.
It does.
And cools you down. It's all have the names we know, the Jamesons and what have you, the Tollymore Dews.
I forgot.
I remember my dad drinking Tollymore Dew when I was a kid. And it came in this little bottle that was kind of really... at a time when you didn't have a lot of Irish whiskeys, or it didn't seem like there was a lot.
Sure.
That was like one of the big ones,
Yeah.
That was one of the first ones, one of the big ones. Definitely expanded it, and more people are able to kind of get their hands on, stuff they wouldn't have been able to get their hands on.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, it's kind of, everything is at our disposal as far as the craft spirits industry now.
Exactly.
Where years ago, it was like you had to know somebody. You really had to know somebody.
You had to drive way down that back road. In the middle of the night and
we know Russ though. I can't wait, and I know you're excited about events being able to go on again, and we all are.
Yes,
we're all just chomping at the bit to get back out there and get to some of those events, and hopefully 2021 will be a year that's kind of safely about going back out to public venues.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to thank Russ Reyes for dropping by again. Kilt Cork. You can find him on Facebook, and he's always got some adventure. Yeah, you're on Instagram too, and you're on Twitter too.
Very rarely I tweet. Yeah,
I'm going to stop tagging you on Twitter.
That's dominated by other people. So I'm Insta.
He's giving up Twitter. Okay. So thanks again, Russ, for dropping by, and we'll be right back with more of the Rec Show right after this. Cheers.